So at this point, I think most people are thinking, wow, 2024 was crazy. Can't top that. But every year we've topped it. And I'm telling you, 2025 is going to be insane. And I'll tell you why. Right now, we have a potential civil war. We have a potential World War III. We have this crazy Moriarty-style Batman in the bushes assassination thing going on. But then there's these drones. And now, again, everyone's calling them drones, but then they say we really don't know what the hell these things are. But these things are like the size of cars flying around all over the world. And at first you would think, okay, it's just the U.S. military doing their thing, right? But here's the thing. This isn't happening just in the U.S. This is happening in the U.S., the U.K., Canada, China, Mexico, Kazakhstan, Japan, India, Russia. Like, this is happening almost literally everywhere in the world that we're seeing these sightings. And it's not like, oh, you know, we saw a sighting in October, another in November. This is every day. We're seeing sightings everywhere. And we can't figure out what these things are. And, you know, there's three possible options. One, they're ours. And the military, just for whatever reason, is not communicating with governors and mayors and letting everyone just go into hysterics, which I don't think that would actually happen. Number two, it's a foreign entity such as China or Russia or something like that, in which case you would think that by now we would have followed them back to their own country. And like, if you're a country and you're hovering drones over top of military installations all over the world, that is a declaration of war. And you can't tell me that the U.S. military hasn't, you know, identified where they're from, where they're coming from, where they're landing, and then decided, okay, you've declared war on us. If that were the case, we would already be bombing somebody. So I don't think it's necessarily theirs. But then what does that leave, right? That leaves an ET possibility. But like, come on, man. Like, are we really there? Is this really where we're at? We're believing now that aliens are hovering over top of us, and we're so incredibly desensitized to this that we're just like, huh, that's weird, and then get back to our daily life. So anyway, it's my prediction that 2025 is going to make 2024 look like a nursery rhyme. We are going to start off this year with a bang, and I don't know where that bang is coming from. I don't know if it's within, if it's over in the Middle East or Russia, or if it's coming from the skies. But man, 2025 is going to be in the history books for sure.
Go to the full extent, depending how far this goes. We will go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State, and over to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen, but my number one job is to protect Ontarians and Canadians as a whole. This is coming. It's not if it is, it's coming. And it's coming January 20th or 21st. And we need to be prepared. We need to stand as a country. We need to stand united as Canadians and work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with our colleagues across the country. And we're ready to do it. Last resort. We power 1.5 million homes, and if they put on tariffs, it's going to be unaffordable for Americans to buy electricity. Just like if they put tariffs on the 4.3 million barrels of oil that's Alberta shipping down to the U.S. If you put 25%, that increases every barrel of oil by, every gallon of gasoline by $1. So I don't think that President-elect Trump wants that to happen. What we're sending a message to the U.S. You come and attack Ontario, you attack livelihoods of people of Ontario and Canadians. We're going to use every tool in our toolbox to defend Ontarians and Canadians across the border. And let's hope that never comes to that point. Let's hope we can get through this trade deal. The problem is not with Canada. The problem is with China. And China shipping in parts to Mexico, Mexico slapping on Made in Mexico stickers, and shipping them up through the U.S. and Canada and taking American and Canadian jobs. That's the problem.
We received the biggest threat we've ever received from our closest friends and ally, from President-elect Trump, that they're threatening to put a 25% tariff on all goods coming across the border into the U.S. and Mexico. What I found unfair about the comments is to compare us to Mexico. And I can tell you, Canada is no Mexico. We do approximately, just Ontario alone, $500 billion of two-way trade. I found his comments unfair. I found them insulting. It's like a family member stabbing you right in the heart. Well, hopefully we won't come to that, but if it does, there is no choice. We have to retaliate. We have to retaliate, not against the Americans, the administration that has made a wrong call on this. It's very simple. And you ask any American, and I know thousands of Americans, and endless governors and senators and congressmen and women, if they feel Canada is a threat. I want to emphasize, to compare us to Mexico is the most insulting thing I've ever heard from our friends and closest allies, the United States of America. We want to work together, we will work together, and we'll resolve this problem.
Seems like there's some who are saying, when there's tragedy in my backyard, I'm good with spending. When there's tragedy not in my backyard, heartburn, as you put it. And it sounds hypocritical.
Well, it's nonsense to do this. We are a nation. That's why we have states. That's why we have a federal government to help in times of need in different states, be there wildfires out in the West, tragic, hurricanes that happen on the coast, or ones that, hell, go up the Ohio Valley like this is. This is a time, actually, that we need to come together as government. That said, I don't think wish lists or parks or somewhere else as far as disaster relief needs to occur. But we need to get moving with this. There's enough of the obstructionism. There's enough of the, hey, it's not 100% perfect, I'm not going to vote for that kind of bill. We've seen that way too many times, especially in the last 2 years here. It's time for people to understand that we're here as a federal government to help people in times of need. But what has happened in Western North Carolina is biblical. It's sad. It's been there. I've been out there. We need to help those individuals. We need to help them yesterday, get through the nonsense sent in by the Biden administration. But we also need to get our state and our federal partners working yesterday to make sure that the folks get the relief that they deserve.
What do you need?
Just people to come check on us.
This is how hundreds of people are still living in Western North Carolina, in campers and in tents amid bitterly cold temperatures. How do you think your kids are doing?
They're struggling, but they're managing it well. Definitely has affected them.
Is this your food in boxes?
Yeah, people drop stuff off that we already have, and most of it's expired food.
How has this experience changed your family?
I think it has made us closer. Families have been torn apart, and we still have one another.
It's about 15 degrees below the normal temp for this time of year. And that's just added another layer of misery to the recovery here. Like the destruction you can see behind me, a lot of people have lost their homes, and the RVs and the tents some are living in right now are just no match for this weather. What do you need?
Just people to come check on us.
Emotions are raw here. Steve Krell's home was destroyed. He lived in this tent for weeks before moving to a camper van amid dropping temperatures. Shauna Levine's family has spent 2 months in this shelter. Mom, dad, and 7 children, alongside dozens of others who lost housing during Helene. How do you think your kids are doing?
They're struggling, but they're managing it well. It definitely has affected them in the aspect of
America, stores going away because nobody has any money. So for the last 5 or 6 years, you have seen nothing but retail stores, food places, and all kinds of shopping locations go out of business nationwide. Thousands upon thousands of stores are now gone. Now, a lot of people blame Amazon. Recently, a lot of people blame not having any money to shop anywhere. And in reality, it's both of those things, also corporate greed as well. But now that all these stores across the country are starting to close, and next year we're going to have what's called a retail apocalypse, I have a question for everybody. What are you going to do in this country when you effectively have no retail business or general business of any kind because it's all been closed? So what is this country going to look like when there's no malls, no retail stores, everything has to be delivered? Hell, even the grocery stores are going to go away. So there's going to be less choice, less places to shop at. Those locations will have less products. They'll have the shit that makes them the most profit, of course. And it's just a general overall degradation of the country. Now, I know back in the 90s and 2000s, you probably thought this day would never come, and you probably thought this day would be awesome when it did come. Hey, there's going to be no malls and no retail and no stores. This is going to be great. We destroyed capitalism, right? But now that all that's going to be gone, what's fucking left? Nothing. Nothing's fucking left, because that's all America was. So you got rid of all the retail and all the stores and all the profiteering, only to leave the companies that are left making the most profit and having almost no choice now because it's all gone. So instead of 10 box stores, you have 2 or 3 to choose from. Instead of 100 food choices, you have 10. Instead of 12 pharmacies, you have 2. So do you see how this is not good? In your effort to try to destroy the world and bring in a new form of American socialism, you've destroyed the nation totally. Eventually this place will become eventually this country will turn into a better functioning Soviet Union where you'll have just as many choices. You like brown shoes or black? Those are your choices. Which state-controlled pharmacy or state-controlled grocery store do you want to go to? I don't know about you. I liked it better the way it was in the 80s and 90s. This shit sucks, asshole.
A lot of you aren't gonna do fucking shit until you're uncomfortable. You're not like Jizzle D Freak, you're not sleeping in a cold fucking car. That makes me very uncomfortable in ways that I can't explain to the comforted man. A lot of you aren't gonna fucking do a goddamn thing until you start feeling hungry. And by then it's gonna be too fucking late because you won't even have the energy. A lot of you aren't gonna do shit until you start running out of fucking water and the dehydration starts to fucking take hold. Americans are fucking docile sheep. You've been domesticated. They trained you to do what they're fucking told. They don't even have to give you a fucking treat anymore. That's how they domesticated you, America. They made you so fucking comfortable that you don't even want to fight back. You know you're getting fucked over by the fucking corporations, but they're giving you just enough to stay fucking comfortable and happy. You will own nothing and you will be happy. America, you will obey the fucking corporations, you will consume from the corporations, and you will fucking die. And even after you live the nice full fucking life, your family still has to pay for the fucking funeral. You still have to pay for lawyers so that you can divvy up all that fucking shit. You're a slave fucking culture. You're always gonna be a slave fucking culture. And the few free men that exist here, I sure as fuck don't feel like fighting for a bunch of fucking sheep. You're an American after all. You're gonna screw me over so that you could save your fucking self. I would never want to lay my shit down on the line just for a bunch of sheep who are gonna be